Hey everyone, Jamil from the Work From Anywhere Accelerator here, and I'm back with another student interview with an awesome dude named Cody. He got this really awesome win over here, so we jumped on a call so I could pick his brain about where he was at, what his process looked like, how he got to that result, and then funny enough, a few days after our call, he ended up on this little win over here, doing even better and absolutely crushing it. So I'm going to let him kick off and introduce himself and dive right in.
Yeah. So first off, I'm Cody. I started this program probably 3 weeks ago now, maybe. And what attracted me into the program, I guess, was I had started in e-commerce, like Shopify, drop shipping type stuff, and I had some success in there, but it became evident to me very quickly that I would have to sell a whole lot of $10 iPhone chargers before I'd make any money back. And I saw how many people were like they were doing 50,000 in sales per month, and they were making like $300 off of it. So, not to say it can't work, it can, but then I'd seen Christian Martin's video a few times, his ad on Facebook, and then at that point I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll watch a webinar. I've watched about 500 webinars by this point, and I watched it, and I was like, man, I think I'm actually going to try this out. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Awesome. Awesome. And so like what motivated you to jump into the 14-day challenge bit, the little sprint that we had there as well?
Yeah. So I have probably, I kid you not, I've reached out to every bit of 2,000 people now, probably. I mean, in 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, I've reached out to a ton of people. So I was just like, you know what? This is going to kind of speed up the process and give me some tips on things that I'm not doing right now, or I'm doing inefficiently right now. So that's kind of what got me into the 14-day challenge.
Awesome. Awesome. And so how would you describe, you're 3 weeks in, how would you best describe, the program at this point? Like where do you see the value? How does it sit for you now that you're 3 weeks out?
Yeah. It's a lot of detail that, I had even gotten from, Alex Becker's got a course. A lot of people know Alex Becker, and I got his HCOM 2020 course. And there's just stuff in this program that I'm not seeing in other programs. That's kind of the behind the scenes stuff that people don't even think about. So that was one of the things that was really helpful in regards to just the Work From Anywhere Accelerator in general. But specifically in regards to the Quantum Leap Challenge, some of the things that really helped me, honestly, for me, it was kind of a lot of confirmation on things that I was already testing out. And it was just really you, Jamil, just saying like, no, this is the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, and you need to do even more of it. Because before we had even done the challenge, I probably had spoken with, or I was probably in 30 to 40, maybe 50 groups already. So when you said that, I just really drilled all the rest of the groups in those niches that I'm working.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know, I'm sure you know as well, one of the biggest things that a lot of folks reach is that point of like, they hit a barrier and they're like,
Yeah.
shoot, what do I do? What do I do? They ask themselves what if, and they just get paralyzed and not taking action. I mean, on the flip side, you've taken a crazy amount of action.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what triggered that for you? Was it stuff you saw in the group? Was it just like, that's just your the way you operate? Where'd that come from for you?
Yeah. So, good question. Yeah. So I'll kind of preface it with saying, I've watched hours of YouTube stuff. I'm like you probably, Jamil, in that sense of like, I'm huge on knowledge, just gaining a bunch of knowledge about stuff. So I've done that. I've read a lot of books like 1 Minute Manager, stuff like that. So I've always been passionate about business stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of hardwired in my personality that if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it as best as I can. I'm going to bust my butt doing it. So, but yeah, to anybody seeing this, one of the things I would really, really urge is, I posted this in one of the groups the other day, is you trying to do 6 hours a week and making that, the solution to becoming an entrepreneur is kind of unrealistic. I don't see anybody else who has mass success do 6 hours a week worth of stuff. It takes time. And it's going to take time. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take busting your butt and not taking no as a discouragement. I actually learned this from a coach, a digital marketing coach, but he said, he sees, when he pitches to somebody, he sees two answers. He sees either yes or like, what can I learn from that? But he doesn't see ever like the answer no, of like he doesn't see failure. You see what I'm saying? So I think that so many times when we reach out to somebody, whether it's a cold message or a call, and they say no, we perceive that as we failed. Whereas this person was saying, no, you just learned. You didn't fail. You just learned on how to make it better the next time. So I think that if people end up fighting harder when they're not seeing success, they'll be a lot better instead of just saying, oh, well, it didn't work the first try, so I give up. I mean, it's going to take a ton, especially with the cold messaging and mailing and stuff like that. It's going to take a lot of reaching out before you get, somebody that's going to say yes. But that one yes is worth all the no's that you got.
Awesome. So I guess now that you're 3 weeks in, you've gone through the program, you've also went through the mini challenge that we had. Now are you kind of at a point where you're able to see, get how to get from where you're at to the couple clients in, building out the agency? How do you find that process? Like, do you see that as clearly as, our goal is to make that? Where are you at in that process?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, one thing in that regard is when people are reaching out, I suggest trying out a few different copies and not just sticking to one single copy because, when a lot of people use one copy or one type of copy and you're reaching out, people, especially who have been in the industry and been reached out to before by digital marketers, they see right through that. I mean, I'm already in some Facebook groups now where people will be asking for jobs and stuff to have a digital marketer do white label work for them. And I mean, everyone will copy and paste this exact same thing. It's like, man, you've just lost any chance you had of getting that deal just because, you use some stock response. So I would say, kind of with anything in the program at all, just kind of take the general concept, the construct of whatever copies used and make it your own, make it kind of unique. But yeah, to answer your question, definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel there. I've got one deal that I shook on per se.
Awesome.
I'm just waiting for this guy's got, he's getting funded from a mother company and their mother company is doing $30 million a month in sales. So they're kind of killing it. So money's not the issue, but with dealing with a big corporate company like that, there's a lot of, red tape to go through. So that's why it's kind of taken a little longer than expected. But so that deal I've got in the bag. But yeah. I mean, I would say that I for sure see the processes that need to be done and whatnot. I think that the big thing is just, for people with what is that? The 20-mile march. Is that what that's called?
Yep.
Is like, man, people so often say like, hey, I've got these other plans that I'd like to do today, whatever it is. And it's like, I get that, me too. But it's part of disciplining yourself and saying, no, I'm going to stop all that stuff. And I'm going to do this because it means that much to me because success is costly, but it's well worth it in the end. So, kind of like I saw your post the other day, Jamil, when I posted in that group and you said that you worked like something crazy, like 120 hours a week or whatever when you first started. And like, that's what I'm doing right now. I've got 40 hours a week at my regular job. And outside of that job, I'm spending another, 12 hours a day reaching out to people, learning different, things that I can do. Like you can see behind me, I've got 2 sets of lights in between. It's a gimbal that I'm recording some video content that I'm giving to some of my future clients here. So it's like constantly doing something, I think it's important to have a list there of things that you need to do daily. Because if not, then you're going to get off track and you're just going to start watching cat videos on YouTube or whatever. But having some sort of regiment there to remind you of what you're trying to do, it makes it a lot easier to see the end goal and not get discouraged when you don't see fruit right away.
Makes sense. Awesome. Anything you wanna leave with?
Yeah, sure. All I'll say to people is what determines your own success at the end of the day is you. The Work From Anywhere team has kind of taken away any excuse that you could use to say that you didn't succeed. Like even with what I just said about things that could be changed in regards to updating information and stuff, like every single time I've reached out to anybody, they've always reached back out to me and helped me and solve the problems. So really any excuse that you could have is really not valid in that case. I would just say, keep fighting, keep grinding, don't give up. It gets better. I know it gets better. I've got so many conversations in the works with people right now. Actually, after I get off this call, I've got a few tonight. And really just focus on giving this more than 30 minutes a day or whatever you're doing right now. I mean, I know you can do more. It's just completely up to you and how much time that you're willing to spend doing it. So bust your butt on it and And if you don't understand the stuff in the content, watch the videos and rewatch them and rewatch them and rewatch them. Because and ask questions again. Like I see me or Evan or Jamil or Brittany. Like I see people in there pretty regularly answering questions for people that have them. So get the help you need and keep grinding. I think that's really it. Because I think I had an advantage there because I started in the digital marketing space before most of these people probably. So or the internet sales rather. With the Shopify stuff. So I was already familiar with some of the stuff with the Facebook ads and whatnot where other people wouldn't have been. So just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Don't give up because it gets easier. And once you have that first under your belt, it gets a lot more confident boosting and it pushes you to do more.
Awesome. Awesome.